In this documentary, you went to 10 different countries. What is it that you found in these 10 countries?
Yeah, the film started off being based in Israel because I'm Palestinian and Israel is the closest neighbor to us. And there were some movements there, and one of the movements is in a town called Esafia. It's in northern Israel, where it's a nice elevated town. It's on a hill, and because it's on a hill and because it has this bird's eye view of the rest of the country, they put a lot of antennas in the town. And they had a lot of sick people. They had about 70 antennas in a really small neighborhood. Both phones and maritime and commercial and a whole bunch of things. And they have a lot of sick people, a lot of people with cancer, a lot of people are dying and have already died. And you know, this is one of the key stories in my film because it really shows how bad this can get when you're in such a concentrated situation. It shows a lot, you know, a lot more evidently. We're getting exposed the way they were when we're, you know, it's to a lesser degree, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the same situation. But the reason I expanded the film and decided to travel to these 10 different countries is because I discovered while I was doing my research that this is such a pervasive issue. It's not about one country. It's not about, you know, the developing world. It's not about the developed world. It's about the entire world. We're all being exposed to this radiation. This technology is across the board. Almost 4 billion cell phone users around the world now, and you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of antennas just everywhere. And so, you know, whether you like it or not, you're exposed. And whether you own a cell phone or not, chances are you're being exposed unless you live in a very remote area. And so this is why I decided to visit the 10 different countries, to speak to different people in these countries, and to make a wider scope, give the film a wider scope.
We're going to look right now at a trailer of Talal Jabari's documentary, Full Signal.
This is the world's largest biological experiment ever.
I get very ill if someone has forgotten to put off his mobile phone when they visit me. After a couple of hours I feel ill. After 4 hours I can't speak anymore.
The evidence right now is sufficient to say that we should be very cautious, and from a public health perspective, this is a very serious issue.
We make so many superfluous calls because we presume that this is an environmental treaty. If people don't even understand it as an environmental issue, they don't even question it. It's just magic.
You only would need like 1 minute exposure of a child to change for more than 1 hour the electrical activity of the brain.
It was very difficult for me as a mother to look to my daughter's eyes and see her crying for me.
What do you do? Because everybody needs a cell phone. I mean, nowadays, my daughter has a BlackBerry, and she's 11 years old, so what do you do?
Definitely children before the age of 25, you know, it's definitely before 18, but up to 25, you're really at an increased risk. But for the more general sector of society, you really have to err on the side of caution here and decrease your usage. And you know, if that means, you know, using a wired hands-free earpiece to your phone, if that means just getting a longer cable and connecting it to your router instead of using wireless, you know, going back to a landline phone. A lot of people are getting rid of landlines in their homes and then just relying on cell phones.
Right, exactly.
You know, which is what the cellular industry wants.
Right.
It costs them a lot less for you to have your cell phone rather than them extending these copper wires, you know, from A to B, or the fiber optic wires as well. You know, so they want you to get rid of your landline and use these cell phones, and people are doing that. And when you get rid of your landline and you're using your cell phone all the time, people keep them next to their beds, under their pillows. you know, and use them as alarm clocks, for example. This constant 24/7 exposure is what science is starting to show has the most detrimental effect. And if you can stay away from it, you know, at least while you're sleeping, while your body is releasing melatonin, while it's trying to repair itself, then you're in a much better shape. But people just aren't doing that. A lot of people have their Wi-Fi routers in their bedroom.
Right.